I'm going to be demonstrating on a chair, common kitchen chair. This is not ideal. You want something lower. If I can do it on this, you can do it on something, the proper height. So, the whole principle and what people are doing wrong is you want to keep your trunk, your torso straight throughout the full movement. So if my hand is the chair, this arm is my torso, your trunk, you want it moving like this on the pivot point, which is to say you do not want your shoulder blades stapled to this platform. So the wrong way to do it, the way you see all the so-called experts and their clients doing it, is they'll keep their shoulder blades pinned and they lower their hips something like this. This causes lumbar extension, and if you have any weight or resistance in your hips, this can make your lower back ache and cause issues down the line. So if you've ever tried glute bridges and you feel it in your lower back, you were probably doing some version of that. So when you start, lift up, walk your back up as needed. Get your shoulder blades or lower above the pivot point. 2, induce what is called pelvic posterior tilt, which is to say you tilt your pelvis forward. So anterior tilt is when you have kind of that bubble butt thing, and your butt sticks out, your lower back is somewhat arched. Posterior tilt, which you want to engage and maintain through the whole movement, is you want to tilt your hips, your pelvis forward, and keep it tilted forward throughout. So, walk your shoulder blades up. Feet placement should be as far in as you can get them before you start feeling it in your quads. Obviously, you go in here, it's almost all quad work, almost like a Gironda squat. Feet go out, shoulder blades above the pivot point, posterior tilt, trunk stays straight. Maintain that posterior tilt throughout as best as you can. That's the movement. As you do this, if you start to slide or move, you can obviously readjust as you go. That's fine. Reestablish the tilt. And again, if you feel it in your quads, experiment with putting your feet out more or changing the pivot point of your back. One final point. Try to maintain the contraction at the top. Since you don't get a lot of pressure on the bottom, even with bands, almost none with weights because they're going in the wrong angle, it takes the pressure off the glutes, you don't experience what is called stretch-mediated hypertrophy, which is to say you don't get a lot of stretch and pressure on the stretch at the bottom. Therefore, we have to compensate by holding the contraction at the top for at least 2-3 seconds, sometimes as long as 10 seconds per rep. So hold, down. Hold, down. Readjust as needed. Maintain posterior pelvic tilt. Contract and hold. Torso straight. Shoulder blades come off with each rep. Torso, trunk, straight line. So here's an alternative way to band up for your glute thrusts. Your anchor points will be the low 2 sets or the belt for your carabiners. So I prefer the loop up and on occasion the belt itself. So I'm second up from the bottom. Now the bands, what you're going to do is do a double loop. So you're essentially doing a figure 8, looping it over. So you get 2 loops. Shake it out so you evenly distribute it, so you don't get like, a small loop and a big loop. So again, band, figure 8, you get a double loop. So these are only 50s for demonstration purposes, but obviously by double looping it, then you're getting 100 on each. Loop, figure 8 it. There's your double loop. See how that's uneven? Shake it out so they're the same. You get equal tension. And again, this is my preferred method, but you can do it on the belt or you can do it below. I suppose in theory you could do all 2 or 3 at once if you really wanted to double it up. From here, I'm going to use this pad. You can use a towel. Just roll up a towel. In the other video, it shows me using a towel, so it works just as well. One quick factoid there. The carabiners, depending on which side, which is in or out, the gate, if it's down, can dig into the pad. So be conscious of that. Double loop around each foot. Straighten them out, almost like a leg press, basically. Slide your towel or your pad underneath. Bands go to the inside of the knees. Walk your shoulder blades up or push into your tilt. There's the exercise. When you're done, straighten out your legs, pull out your pad. There it is. And as a final bonus variant, we're going to do both the glute configuration band setup that's used in the quick start video and this alternative double looped version. So we're going to give like a double or triple whammy on the glutes. Now I could stand up, but I go out of camera frame, so I'm going to sit down to do the glute configuration. I'm going to cross them over to make them even tighter, increase the distance they have to stretch. Set these bands out. Cross goes behind the opposite leg, just like in the quick start video. So even there will be some glute tension. Now as I straighten these out, this time I will place a rolled up towel underneath. Walk up the shoulders. Proper foot placement. Boy, that's a lot of resistance. Posterior tilt. That's a lot of weight. That's at least 315 of free weight. I can easily rep out 10 reps of 315, holding for 8 seconds each. I don't know that I could do that for 10 reps.